here.
My parents both suffered Alzheimer. My husband is ill too. And my parents already decided to move to your side. And I think there must be a communications problem when I ask for things, because I never recall having asked for illness in my life. But I always have, my job has nothing to do with nursing, but I always be in charge of these ill people. So I don't know if this is, if you don't understand Spanish when I request things, but I always get illness into my life.
Yep, that's the problem right there.
Because I always ask for joy, even when my parents
Well, you understand what the language is. The language is a vibrational language. It's an emotional language. The universe does not hear what you say. The universe hears what you mean. So, as you observe, you usually begin, eventually, to mean what you are observing. You don't mean to, but the universe is hearing what you mean. Now, there's something else that we want to give you here. Just relax and enjoy this, because this is going to make perfect sense to you. When you are surrounded by others who are also creating their own reality, this is the perfect conversation on the heels of the conversation we just had. It's not an easy thing to be humanly, physically focused and not be aware of conditions around you. It's the way you've been trained. Almost from the beginning, those around you were trying to elicit from you behavior. They created conditions around you to try to get you to contour your behavior to conditions that please them. You following? So most of you have been training yourselves or been trained by others, and you do it to each other all of the time, where you are so conditionally oriented that you sort of just keep passing it back and forth amongst yourself. But imagine what it could be like if, instead of trying to please someone else who is observing you, who wants a behavior or a condition from you in order to affect the way they feel, what if you were listening for the guidance from your inner being? What if you were taking your cues from source? What if you were thinking thoughts that felt good to you rather than thoughts that most others around you were thinking? So what happens as you are born into this world where you've trained each other to be really observant and to have responses to each other, without even knowing you're doing it, you begin to mean things that you don't want to mean. Most people really believe in the decline of human physical experience. You just believe in it. You don't believe in continual thriving. And the reason you don't is because you've been observing one another, because the squeaking wheel always gets the most oil, because those are the things that you talk about most, because you talk yourselves into these vibrational frequencies that prevent you from being in alignment with source. So when we speak of unconditional love or unconditional alignment or unconditional clarity, unconditional fun, unconditional joy, unconditional alignment, that's the word we want you to hear, unconditional alignment. What we're really talking about, we're not just talking about how to feel better in the moment, we're talking about how to sync up with that broader view. We're talking about syncing up with what you really know, with what you really mean, with what your true momentum is, with what your true trajectory is. We're talking about getting on your true path. We're talking about your true path of least resistance. You see what we're getting at? So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we wouldn't tell the story anymore about the people around you that are living this way or this way or this way or this way, unless the telling of those stories really feels good, really feels resonance when you tell it. We would tell the story that source is telling. And the thing that we know, we can feel you all hanging up on this. In other words, it feels a little uncomfortable because it doesn't feel like you are telling it like it is. Shouldn't we face reality? And we say, you are the creators of reality, not the facers of reality, but you keep recreating the reality because you keep facing the reality rather than feeling your way to the true reality and living what you've really intended to live, you see. Oh, isn't that nice to know? Now, it takes practice. It takes practice for sure, because law of attraction is going to bring you things like the things that you usually think. So it takes a sensitivity to the way you feel while you are having those conversations. You get to the point where you'll be in the middle of a conversation and you recognize it's, we won't say inappropriateness, because nothing is off limits. You're not ever doing anything wrong. But by your standards of who you are and what you have become, you talk all the time about things that you do not want to live. And because you get away with most of it, because law of attraction is responding gradually, then you continue to develop patterns that don't serve you because you're not picky about the way you feel. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would care so much about the way we feel that we wouldn't go down those unpleasant paths. But so often, you're willing to go down them when the stakes aren't that high. Esther said to us one day, early on in her understanding of all of this, Abraham, maybe instead of it just being an emotion in my solar plexus of tension or uneasiness or anger, maybe if a tooth would just fall out, maybe it would get my attention better. And we said, you wouldn't have any teeth at all. No one would have any teeth. That really isn't the best way to go about it. But we get what she is getting at. She wants more awareness of her disconnection. She wants more awareness of her resistance. And we say the only way to have more awareness of your resistance, well, there are two ways. One is ask for more, because when the energy is moving faster, you have a greater awareness of what you're doing within it. And the other is care about the way you feel. Care about the way you feel. You have to train yourself into, we'll say it for you in a way that you won't ever forget it. We want you to train yourself into unrealistic thoughts. I want you to stop all this realism you've got going on. I want you to stop facing reality and start creating reality, because it will change in the moment that your vibration changes. Oh, we know this so clearly, and we want to speak it so purely to you that you stand in a vibrational utterance. You are offering a vibration. You are creating this vibrational atmosphere around yourself at all times. And the source within you is standing right there with you, perceiving the same thing that you are perceiving from source point of view. And your emotions are that relationship. So every time you feel negative emotion, it means you're looking at it differently than source is, which usually means you're looking at it conditionally, which usually means you're looking at it the way you've been trained, which usually means you're looking at it the way your peer groups want you to look at it, which means you're trying to please somebody else. Bless your hearts, do you see how hard that is? If there are two people in your world, those two people are not asking the identical thing from you. You have split energy in the moment that you try to please two of them, you see. Give it up. Don't try to please any other humans. Find alignment, find resonance with the source within you, and watch what happens. First of all, people who are dependent upon your empathy will start going away because you're not that satisfying to them. They're suffering. You're happy. They're struggling. You're happy. Sometimes they struggle extra hard just to get your attention. You don't notice. And then they write you off as not a good friend because you're not there for them. And what you want to say to them early on, oh, I'm there for you. I'm there where you want to be. And they'll say, well, don't be where I want to be. Come over here where I am. Esther said that to us on many occasions. Abraham, if you would just look at this like I am, I wouldn't feel so bad. Was accurate. If we would lower our vibration to where hers was, she wouldn't feel the discord. But we're not going to do that. You got to come to where we are if you're going to play with us. And that's the way, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be with one another. If you're going to play with me, come for the fun, come for the clarity, come for the unconditional love. And your friends will clamor. They will say, oh, but wait, did you not see this condition? Did you not see this one or this one? They will accuse you of having your head in the sand. They will accuse you of not caring. They will accuse you of all kinds of things that are true. No, I've tuned all of that out. Well, you need to face reality. I'm creating reality. I'm creating a beautiful reality. I'm creating a vibrational tone. I'm setting a vibrational tone. I've got a vibrational vicinity. I am tuning myself to the frequency of all that I am. Kind of hard for them to hear it. But they'll get the hang of it if you're consistent. What keeps them from understanding it is that you are not all that consistent. Sometimes you go, sometimes you don't. So they're confused about what it is you are really wanting to help them to understand. But the source within them never goes. The source within them never joins them in the slower, lower vibration. You're following?
Yes, sure.
Did we get there?
Yeah.